second part to my first video. I wanted to talk a little bit more about how being raised as a Jehovah's Witness, how it affects you, how it makes you grow up unbalanced, how it can definitely lead to what I think, depression and a lack of joy in your life. For one thing, as a child, you're not really allowed to develop individually. You can't pursue your interests or your talents. That's discouraged. Whether it be sports or arts, music, anything like that is kind of a personal expression of who you are and gives you an identity. Most of that is not encouraged. You're not really presented with opportunities to grow in those ways. So your whole identity becomes interwoven basically with just the organization. You identify your value as a person and who you are with your role in the organization. I learned this as a young person. I was probably about 10 years old, out in the field ministry. We were waiting on some people to get back from a house, and I was sitting in the car with an elder. And I didn't want to talk to people. I was a shy kid. It was really intimidating having to talk to adults as a child. Anyway, he was pretty stern with me, and he just told me, he's like, if you're not going to talk to people out here in field service, then you're just wasting Jehovah's time. You're wasting your time. You're wasting my time. And that really crushed me, but it also really helped me, it made me realize that my only value as a person is basically centered around the witnessing work, the door knocking and talking to people. And when I didn't really have anything else to reinforce my value any other way, that's just kind of how you grow up thinking. At least that's how I grew up thinking. And it goes off into adulthood. You continue to think like that. Like I was saying earlier, pretty much any other pursuit, any other thing that you do in life, you feel guilty about it. You feel guilty about, having kids or getting married because you feel like, you're shortchanging Jehovah. You're not giving him your all. You can't be used in the organization as much. You can't get privileges as much because you've got family responsibilities. So instead of finding joy in those things, you just feel like crap a lot. It's real frustrating. I knew a sister that she pioneered for 25 years, took her son with her. He was raised in the backseat of a car, basically, in field service. And she was making a comment to her husband just recently, wondering if she had done enough to not be killed at Armageddon. And that's the kind of fear I'm talking about, that people just carry around with them. After a life of sacrifice like that, she's still freaking out, thinking that she's going to die. I know a brother that, he was raised in the 60s with the big build-up to 1975. And they had articles saying that you're not going to fulfill any career in this system of things. He wanted to go to college. He wanted to do drafting and be an engineer. Instead, he was a janitor. And he's just really unfulfilled. And, if 1975 would have saw the end, well, great. But it didn't. And here this guy is. He's up in his 60s now. He's pushing retirement. He doesn't have a retirement. notice the choices he made were really unbalanced, but it was because of the influence of the Watchtower Society. As a witness, you build your life around the decisions that they basically make for you. Because if you believe that structure, that concept, that they are God's spokesman, who are you to doubt them? You look up to them and you make decisions that you otherwise wouldn't have made. And you think, how could you get conned into making those kind of decisions? But your critical thinking skills, your logic, that all goes out the window. And it's not just if you're raised in it. Even if you come in later, if you really are believing that, you'll make decisions based off of what the input you're getting from them. The only trouble is they don't know what they're talking about half the time. And you're the one that's going to be left paying the bill. And they're not going to accept any responsibility for it. So it's something that you need to think about real seriously. You think, oh, well, that wouldn't happen to me. And some brothers it doesn't. Some people are able to keep their mind about them better than others. But you'd be surprised what would happen to you if you allow them to manipulate you, because they're masters at it. They really know how to pull the strings. And the peer pressure is extreme. The brothers that maybe don't allow it to get to them, they have to lead kind of a double life. A lot of things that you really can't let people know you're doing, or they're going to look down on you. And I'm not talking about bad things. I'm talking about, going to school, stuff like that. Just a lot of different things that you have to basically keep from other people. Otherwise, they're going to think that you're weak in faith. I used to think that. I would see brothers that let their kids go to college, and I would think, oh, they don't have any faith, they don't trust Jehovah, they don't trust his organization. They're going against what the faithful slave says. You look down on them. I really regret feeling that way about people. At least they've got good jobs now. I struggle to provide for my family because I never went to college either. So, just some more things that I was thinking about that I thought were maybe important to bring out to maybe help someone understand, how things can get so messed up. So just do your research.